Bam, we're live. Just like that. Easy peasy. Saxon Panchik today. Won the Syndicate Crown. Crazy. Impressive. I wonder if that's the I think that is I wonder if that's the first time he's ever won a semifinals. It's almost like this is a comeback for him. I don't know if almost is the word. It is a comeback for him, and to come back, take first place. Crazy. Crazy impressive. Wait, what do I do? There we go. Saxon's the brother of Spencer, twin brother, also brother of the younger brother of the great Scott Panchik. Was gone for 1 year. Got 3 kids. I'm very curious how he does it all. Very curious. Good morning. I was looking at the standings for Syndicate Crown. It looked like it was a really close race with Ty Jenkins, Austin Hatfield, and Saxon Panchik all going into the final event, and none of them did well on it. I want to say Saxon got an 8th. Austin got a 15th. Man, he almost shot himself in the foot.
What?
Final event.
Oh,
not a real shot in the foot, Caleb. I was just the standings for Syndicate Crown. Austin took 3rd there and took a 15th in the final event. That's scary shit.
He almost really screwed himself.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Let me see if I can share that Syndicate Crown. How close was he to 4th? It basically sounds like even after the final event, that shit was wide open. What a Nate Ackerman had 5:01. Austin Hatfield had 5:13. Nate took 4th. Whoo, yeah, it was close. Holy cow. Yeah, Saxon in that final event took a 10th. I think Ty Jenkins took an 8th and Austin took a 15th. They left that shit. They kept everyone on the seat of their pants. What's up, dude?
What up?
Caleb, Saxon, Caleb.
What's going on, fellas?
Where are you, Saxon?
In my garage.
I like this angle better. I was watching your show on when you were on the spin on Wednesday, and you were kind of looking down at the camera, and I was like, God, if he does that, his neck's gonna hurt by the end of the show.
That's exactly my thought. I'm in a chair now. I was sitting on a bench last time.
You did think that? You're like, screw that.
I did, yeah. I'm like hunched over. I went to Walmart and grabbed a foldable chair just for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Send me a bill. Send me a bill. Send me your Venmo and a receipt. That's a tax
$8, man. $8.
Hey, are you smart with that stuff? Are you like, okay, I spent $8? Do you have a credit card for that? You're like, okay, this is a media chair. I'm doing media for my job. $8.
Absolutely.
And then yeah, good. Okay, smart. All right, I like that. All that shit.
As an athlete, I feel like everything could be pretty close to being a write-off.
Good point.
You know, I've been talking with my wife about that also. My kid has a YouTube channel and it's been monetized and it's doing well. And it's like, hey, do we get to just start deducting everything? Like jiu-jitsu lessons, tournaments, like we're just filming everything, right? And we put out an episode every 2 or 3 days. I'm like, is everything a deduction now?
You'd think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a full-time job. It's how we sustain ourselves. It's like everything should be a deduction.
For sure. Taxes in general should just
get rid of.
Yeah. Just pay. I would rather pay more for like whatever I'm receiving than them come every, what is it, April 15th.
Me too. Me too. And I'm even willing to give up some stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I want good police and stoplights that work, and let's start there.
Yeah, exactly.
No potholes.
No potholes.
Oh man,
A
Caleb,
lot of potholes where I'm at.
Caleb, you're winning the camera competition again.
Wonderful. I'm killing it.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Natural lighting, baby.
And Saxon's like an Atari 2600.
It's kind of pixelated.
Is it?
Oh, it's so crazy. But hey, who cares? Your audio looks
How's that?
good. Hey, you're the best looking one. You deserve to have all fucked up camera.
I'm on my iPad. And my girls broke my laptop.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let's start
no.
there. Let me hear that story.
I don't even know. They tell me it wasn't them.
Oh,
I had it for like, I don't know, like 2 months. And I go and open it up and I'm like, just like right down like the right side. It was just like just a black line. And I'm like, hey, who did this? I don't know. It was the second laptop it happened to. And I went and had it quoted, like get it fixed. It was like $900. I'm like, I'll just get a new one. And I never got a new one. So I'm just use my iPad.
Oh man.
hey, Saxon, that's I think that what that is that's a something hit the screen. I've told this story before. I had this TV in my shopping cart, like at B&H or Amazon or something, for like 5 months. It was like a $3,500 TV that was like 90 inches. And it's just sitting there. And finally I pulled the trigger on it and I get it. And, it's only 2 months old. And one Saturday I'm sitting on the couch in my underwear, getting ready to watch UFC. I get up to go to the bathroom and I come back and there's a giant line, 6-inch thick line that goes from the top to the bottom. And my wife and my 2-year-old son is looking at me. And my wife's like, take a deep breath. I'm like, what the fuck happened? She's like, and he threw a wooden donut at the TV.
All those things like TVs, computers, they're all like, you can't even get them fixed anymore. Everything's just throw away. You have to get a new one. It's more to get it fixed.
And people are like, when I tell people that story, like when I told people at the time, they're like, what about your homeowner's insurance? I'm like, dude, I want to sit in my underwear and watch TV. I'm not like, I'm a dude. I'm not calling my homeowner's insurance
that's more of a pain.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy. And ever since then we have a rule. There's no, and to this day, it's been like that. Now we're on no toys in that room. Like no throwing objects in that room. Nothing.
90 inches is really big. You don't worry like that's going to mess your eyesight up.
No, and I sit right up on it. I sit like right next to it.
Like a 5-year-old.
I watch TV like this, dude.
As you get big, like tennis.
Yeah, it's totally like that. I look around at the TV screen.
You should play Pong on it.
What were you going to say is what?
As you get older, you're just going to have to go bigger. That's the problem.
Yeah, totally. Or move closer.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I really like. I don't even watch a lot of TV, but when I do watch it, I just want to see it really big. I want to feel like I'm in a theater.
See, I noticed that with people is like, they'll get like sound bars, big TVs, and like you'll go to their house one time and then the next time you'll go, it's like bigger TV, volume's up just a little bit louder. I'm like, don't you think that's a little loud? And they're like, no, I can hardly hear it.
Dude, that's so funny you say that because once a week from the kitchen, my wife would be like, can you lower the TV?
It's like, I can barely hear it.
What's funny is I can hear it on 20, but it's always on 50. And then I always lower it to 20. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. What am I doing to myself?
I noticed that with Spence. That's how Spence is. It's just always, and my dad, it's just always a little bit louder.
Crazy. Do you watch TV?
No. I mean, occasionally if I can find like a good series, but my problem is like I'll find a good series and then I'm like, I have to finish this as quickly as I can. Like I'm just like, I can't stop till it's done. But I mean, just with kids, it's really hard. I mean, my kids now, the sun stays up till like 9:30 and they're like, all right, 7 comes, it's time for bed. They're like, the sun's still out. So like now they push their bedtimes till like 9. And then I'm typically eating dinner at like 9:30. And then I'm like, all right, well, as much as I would want to watch something, I guess I should probably go to bed and then repeat the next day.
Yeah. With 3 kids, there is no, I wonder that too. With 3 kids, there's no time to watch TV. And if there is, you would have to be multitasking, like folding clothes or like there's no way in my life I have time to sit down and watch something.
Yeah. And like if I am, it's like I'm watching till like 2 in the morning because that's my only quiet time, and then I regret it the next morning.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. When you talked about the series, if I start something, it sucks, especially if I start it with my wife, because then I feel obligated to finish it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, it's like you commit one night and now you've committed to like 70 episode 2-hour episodes. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like what did I watched? I don't know. A couple months ago, I would watch Reacher. Have you seen Reacher?
No,
You got to watch Reacher.
it was good. Thanks.
Yeah, like the series.
That
Yeah.
is good. It's a good series.
Like
Good
I think I
series.
finished 3 seasons in like 3 nights.
Oh my god.
I started Fallout and I absolutely loved it. It's only 2 seasons and I haven't even made it through it.
See, I would rather watch something with a lot of seasons, because if I watch one season, I'm not going to come back like in a year and watch the next season.
Yeah, and
like,
I've taken such a long break that I feel like I need to start at the beginning again. Yeah, I screwed myself.
Like Suits was a really good series. I think it was like, I don't know, like 12 seasons. But I wasted, and then you add it up and you're like, wow, I wasted so much time watching this. It's like, wow, that was like 80 hours. What could I have done with 80 hours?
What's it? You have twin girls. How old are they?
They'll be 5 in a week. And then
how old's your boy?
Boy, he just turned 1.
What's a typical day for you? Like if you just like a typical Tuesday.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like we're getting up at 7. I will say this, they all sleep really good, knock on wood. Although they go to bed late, they'll sleep till like 7:30. Get up, pretty boring, but like I always try and be as present as I can in the morning and in the evening, just because I'm gone all day with them. So like hang out with them from like 7:30 till 9, and then I'll head to the gym from like 9 till 4. And then I always call it my PM session. When I come back, it's like 4 to 8. We're just doing anything and everything.
That's like do all the domestic stuff, dinner, play with the kids, bathe them, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they even push that stuff. It's more of like physical activity. Like they're very, like, they don't stop. Like I think they sleep less than me.
Yeah, I know Yep, they don't stop.
Like they would, like now that it's warm out, like they would, like I remember last year they would wake up at like 6 a.m. and we would go to the swimming pool from like 6 to 8.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I spent the like last summer teaching them how to swim, and then once they learned how to swim, they were just like couldn't get them out. So we'd go from like 6 to 8, swim in the morning, and then I'd get back and it would be like 6 to 8 in the PM swim.
Do you nap during the day?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
How old are you?
29.
Yeah, I guess that would be weird.
29. I'll be the dirty 30 this weekend.
Oh wow! Happy birthday.
Thanks. That's the prime, right?
Saxon's chair fund. Even though I hate that he beat out my boy Colton.
Appreciate you.
God, that sucked that Colton didn't make it. I had an emotional response.
I love Colton. He's the man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he sucks. I thought you were going to be like, he sucks.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude, man. I mean, like the dude works hard. And I don't think anyone can say anything otherwise. Like works all day, trains and repeats, you know? And I mean, even just seeing, like, I remember competing with him at the Granite Games, 2019, even before that. I mean, the dude just showed up and like never stopped. And, I think just like proved a lot of people wrong, you know, and, just stayed persistent with it.
When you say you're at the gym from 9 to 4, what does that look like? Do you own the gym?
No, I'm at Scott's gym.
Okay. That's mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He just moved into a new space.
Oh, sweet. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's cool. Cleveland, Ohio. If you're ever up here, anybody. Are you
training, coaching, both?
I do some remote coaching. Like I have some one-on-one athletes that I work with. Occasionally, if I can jump in and fill in at the gym, I will. But mainly just training, especially like for this season. Like my goal was really to be able to just focus on competing. And that was like everything. So yeah.
9 to 4. So you get there at 9 and you're
Yeah, I would
basically
say 9. I mean, I talk a lot. Like I enjoy like just kind of shooting the shit with the members. Sometimes I'll spend more time than I should. That's just how I've always been in any gym that I go into. I just love being able to talk to people and share the knowledge that I have and kind of hear what they have to say. People will ask me like, questions and yeah, like so I think they do class 9:30 to 10:30 in the mornings now, and then they have a noon, and then people will start coming in around 3:30. So like I
oh,
would say like really a lot in between um, is when I'm doing a lot of my training, and then when classes are going on, I typically try and halt.
so you're not necessarily working there. You don't have any duties there.
No, no,
And how many days a week are you doing that? Are you in the gym 5 days a week, 6 days a week?
5 days. No, I take 2 full rest days. Like I'm not. I'm a big full rest day kind of guy. But I mean, those full rest days I would say are pretty much zone 2 with the kids.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, you're on your feet all day chasing them around.
I think I get more steps on a rest day.
And you actually really do rest. You won't come out in the garage and ride the C2 or the Echo bike or
No, I mean typically I'll like the girls will ride their bikes and I'm typically chasing them, stuff like that. Or we'll go to a park and just hang out and just have some fun. But I mean like on a rest day, I think I'm walking like 25,000 steps.
wow.
I
Jeez.
know. I think I added it up. I think that was like an average of like 12 miles.
Hey, do you think that those 2 days off make it so that when you come back, you're chomping at the bit? Like those 2 days off make it like kind of are important because then when you come back, you're actually chomping at the bit to get after it and there's like no burnout?
Um, Honestly, man, I kind of feel like training is a little bit more of a rest because I have that time in between. That when I'm at home, like I really try and like do as much as I can with my kids because those are really like the 2 designated days that I get to spend with them. So, I mean, we're together doing just about anything and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. And 3 kids is really like I fully get it. Like it's like it's when you're with them, it's like go time. It's like you're either tying a shoe or pulling a sock out of the toilet or um yeah, it's nuts. It's
Yeah,
absolutely bonkers. There's
yeah.
no time for yourself.
But
Okay.
it's the
And then
best. I mean, I think I love it, and I love that my kids get to see me do this, and I think that that's something. And now they're starting to actually remember it, you know, um, which just gets me more excited.
did you think that you would love being a dad as much as you do?
Yeah, I knew I would. I think what I find the most fulfilling is like just seeing things start to click for them. Like I remember like teaching them to ride their bike. Like we never did training wheels and we did a lot of balance stuff with them that I mean, I got them a two-wheel bike and they learned how to do the same day. And like I think seeing moments like that, I'm just like cool like, we're doing pretty good. We're not perfect, but like, we're doing pretty good.
And what do you think about having I it's I guess it's a little different, but you had twins first, and I always think um like twins are like the greatest thing ever. It's kind of like imagine all the stuff you miss out on if you just get like we just got one puppy now. And if we
Yeah.
had 2 puppies, we would see crazy shit. And although you see crazy shit with 1 puppy, with 2 you would see it's just bonkers. And I always think that about people who don't have twins and just have 1 kid because now that I had twins, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is absolutely nuts." I mean like in a good way. This is
For
like
sure.
the
I
stuff
think
you
it
see you can't explain it.
Yeah, and I think you see the different phases. I mean, I'm sure you can relate, right? Like the I would say like the 1.5 to 2 to like 4. Like I would say like roughly 2 to 4 was like they're working on their communication skills, but like it's not fully there. Even
Yeah.
like coordination, just different things like that. I feel like they're just trying to figure a lot out and understand, and they'll push the limits a little bit. Now they'll be 5, and I feel like they're to a point where they can communicate, they can tell me what they want, and they actually like understand things, which I think is really exciting. And then having like like we have our 1-year-old now, and I'm just kind of like, is this what the girls were like?
No, boys are I'm very curious to have you on in a couple of years. Boys develop so much slower.
Yeah,
Like intellectually, it is nuts how slow boys are. Like I only had boys, but whenever I'd take them around girls, I'm like, wow, this 4-year-old girl's talking circles around my 7-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I see a huge difference already with it. Like he just wants to like he doesn't like have one toy that he plays with. He's just like here to here to here to here. And then we always say he wants like we call it mounting, and he just has to like mount anything that he can find. And we'll just
That'll
climb
be
up
his whole
on it.
life. That'll be
Like
his whole life.
he chipped his tooth already, and I'm like, I don't even know how he chipped his tooth.
You have a broken computer and a chipped tooth, both of them mysteries.
Yeah, mysteries.
What's your wife's take on the boy versus the girls?
I remember at first she's like, he can do no harm. Just like, I think it's very different. Like I would say for me, I was really soft with the girls.
Yeah.
And I would say she's definitely a little softer with him and like just
Yes.
willing to give them a little bit more grace.
Yes.
Which is like, I'm like, you kind of start to see the difference there, but, she's just always so big. Cause I mean, she stays home with the kids. So like, I think for her, it's more of like, hey, how do I organize this chaos being by myself? You have two girls that just want to run outside and ride their bikes up and down, and then crew who can hardly get down the stairs safely, and you're just trying to manage it all.
Those are real issues. Have you flown with them all?
No, we were just debating whether we were going to bring them out to the games this year or not. They did come down to Syndicate for the last day. So my wife ended up driving down with them, which was pretty cool for them to be a part of that. And then like after a day, I'm like, I don't know if they could make it a week out in California.
I mean, it would be really hard for you to participate in any way, right? At the games.
Oh, for sure.
With the parenting.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
it
like
must
I
be
let them
nice to
like
be
I let
strong
them
and it must be
Oh,
nice to be strong in 29. The last time I picked up all 3 of my kids, my back went out for like 2 weeks.
don't jinx it.
I never tried that again. That's amazing, dude. Sorry, what were you gonna say about travel in the games?
So they came down. I let them bunk up with me Saturday night for Syndicate. So like we all shared a room. Typically, like I like my own space when we're
Yeah.
competing. But it was cool for them to be able to stay with me. Like they just love going into new places. I always laugh because like when we do go places, we always stay in like Airbnbs. They're like, "Where are we?" And I'll tell them like the host house, and they're like, "I'm gonna go to Jason's house. I'm gonna go to Blake's house."
Greg's kids used to think that the Amazon guy was Santa Claus. Greg had told them that they had Santa Claus. He just comes to our house all year.
That's so funny.
Did you sleep in the same bed as with your kids on Saturday night?
No.
No, I was gonna say, wow, you really have gotten soft.
I know. No. Although I think they slept better than I did.
Have you ever won a semifinal before?
Yeah, I won the MAC and then Granite Games.
So this is the 3rd time you've won.
Mm-hmm.
And does this feel? Would you say this is kind of like a comeback for you? You took last year off, right?
Yeah.
And so was this pretty? This has got to be huge for you, right? Like you must have felt like,
Yeah.
did you go into it with some insecurities or some question marks?
Yeah, I felt like, of course, I think, I would say like my last good run that I had was probably 2023, where I like felt 100%. 2024, I ended up having to pull out of semifinals with my foot. So I missed that whole year at the games. 24? 23? 24. Anyways, and then we had the year.
I love it that you can't remember because I can't remember shit. So, and usually people are like, how do you not remember? But it's your life and you can't remember. That makes me feel so good.
Yeah. And then I felt like, so we had that year with the foot, and then we had the year in Texas, and then last year I took off. So I felt like there was like a solid like 3-year span in there where everything was just a little chaotic and not very consistent for me. 23 was the year I had to pull out, and then 24 was kind of like my comeback year for that. And then 25 I didn't compete, so I feel like now I feel 100%. You know, I feel more motivated and excited to compete. I actually feel like having like a few of those years off probably added some more time onto my career. You know, I do feel like I could do this for another 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years. For me, I would love to get to the games 12 times. I think that that would be really cool. Um, I don't know if anyone's done that yet.
Why did you pick 12?
12 is my favorite number. And I feel like everybody's done 10 and kind of stops at 10. And I feel like I got into it early enough that I'm able to do that. Like you think like 12 years, like cool, that's like if you went from 20 to 32. So I think you
Yeah.
kind of are beating those odds just a little bit.
Tell me about 24 was the year Lazar Jukic died at the games, and what was the very first games you went to when you even like before you like when you just went with your brother? What year was that? Do you remember?
2012.
2012. Okay. And do you remember the very first games? Did you watch the games before that?
No.
So it was just you just showed.
No,
No,
we started in 2008, but I would say from 2008 to 2011, I didn't even know there were the CrossFit games. We were just going and working out as a family, and it was just a way for us to work out and compete. And the way we were raised, I think, was very competitive, just with all our sports. So to actually be able to like train in a way where we're able to compete and actually improve by competing, like as an individual, that was really what we were focused on. And then 2012 was the year Scott, I remember he won the first workout, the 7 minutes of burpees. And we were like, oh, wow, what's this? And I remember we were in Pittsburgh at the time, and we drove all the way up to Ohio to watch him do his second workout. And then obviously he qualified for the regionals in Columbus that year. And that was when we started to understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, I remember in Carson one time filming with Scott the behind the scenes as he was walking to his car, and there was a car there, and you and Spencer were there, and I was tripping.
We looked alike. We really looked alike when we were young.
I was like, oh my God, there's 2 more Panchiks.
I think we all had buzzed heads at the time too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys look like just like Scott. Like you look just like Scott too. It was crazy. So in 2024, you remember how that impacted you? When Lazar passed away, like were you shocked? Had you ever thought before that anyone could pass at the games?
No, I felt like I was in a little bit more of like not understand, like I don't want to say not understanding, but like I think like what reality really was at the time. And I think that that was one of the biggest things of like, oh wow, like this like really happened.
Yeah, like hard to like you were having trouble processing it, like almost like in denial. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. Yep.
And I don't even want to say like in denial, but like, you know, like we came to compete for the weekend, and like to see something like that actually happen, you're just kind of like, oh wow, like yeah. It was I think a lot the process, I felt like it took me longer than I thought. And I think a lot of it I tried to like push out of my head. And I felt like I didn't start to process that until like actually after the games. And I think a lot of athletes would agree with that. And I think everybody just deals with things in their own way. And, you know, I think you just kind of got to respect that. But yeah.
In the early years, in I remember 2008, 2009 for sure. I remember being at the games thinking, "Oh shit, someone could die doing this," and I don't think I was the only one who thought it. Like they were, they looked like they were pushing themselves. Seeing athletes cry and crumble, even big strong men, was not like uncommon at all. And then I feel like that kind of went away for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Tony even said it in the 2008 documentary, like, "Hey, you could die," and doing this. And then it kind of went away, and then for it to come back and hit, it was kind of like out of the blue, like in terms of like it like happened at a high moment.
Yeah. I don't think anyone thought that that could happen. And you know, I can see it like the beach, like, you know, I think everybody was like, I think a lot
Yeah,
of people's
people used
biggest
to get
fear was
terrified.
like sharks.
Yeah, the ocean swim, or even Miko had his eardrum blown out, and
Yeah.
Rob Orlando had that scare out there, and Deborah Corden, I forget her last name, she was terrified to go in the water, and Dave had to coax her into the ocean. Yeah, there were some moments out there where people were showing some serious fear.
Yeah.
Has it affected you? Has it affected you since then? Like, do you think about that?
Um,
That you're doing
maybe
something at a super high level with a brick on the gas pedal?
no. I mean, I wouldn't say so.
It's
Yeah.
not like motocross. Motocross, you for sure know someone's gonna die. Like every year, some 16-year-old kid's gonna die on a bike.
Yeah.
But it's not like that with CrossFit. But it did strike.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So it didn't affect you in that sense at all, where you had any like thoughts of like, hey, retiring or maybe not moving forward, being like, hey, this is too dangerous.
No. No. I feel like I mean, I just feel like it's what I know. Um, just in general, just like the entire sport. Um, I've been doing it since I was 2008. How old was I? Like 10, I don't know, somewhere in there. And just like seeing, but here's the thing is, like I see what's happening, like outside of like if the sport was to go away, doesn't mean I would ever stop CrossFit, because you see what's
Right.
happening inside the gyms. And like, I think that that's where there's a lot of magic actually happening, of how many lives it's changed and it's saved, and really how much that can actually spread and impact people. And I've seen that firsthand in my dad's gym, in my brother's gym, in my gym, and every affiliate that I go to, just getting to like hear people's stories along the way. I was in CrossFit Scottsdale, and there's an adaptive guy in there, and he ended up he basically couldn't move his arm anymore. I think it was a motocross accident, and CrossFit was one of those things that actually saved him, and like kind of allowed him to kind of, because he said he could have easily just sat back and been like, wow, this is just my life, right? And the next year he ended up qualifying in the adaptive division to go to the CrossFit Games, and like it really allowed him to mentally flip a switch and actually show up in the gym, be motivated, and still kind of beat those odds. But also, he showed me this video of like him running around with his kids with one arm on bikes, and it didn't stop him from living his life, with even that injury that he had. But I mean, that goes everywhere.
Matt Burns, I remember young Saxon at the Beacon Beatdown in 2014. Do you remember that? Bacon
Beatdown. I remember the Bacon Beatdown.
How'd you place there? Do you remember?
I was on a team. I just remember we did handstand push-ups on like a rig pull, and you had to like have your feet on the pole. It was like strict deficit. Just don't split the pipe.
Yeah, definitely don't. Sabir and Kelly, we met Saxon in East Nashville in 2023. He was leaving and graciously stopped to engage and take pics. So nice. I want to go back. So you come back this year, and how did you do in the Open?
What did I finish? I think it was like, I'm sure you could pull it up. I want to say it was 10th. I think it was top 10.
In your region or in the world?
In the world.
Wow.
What did it say?
Yeah, 10th. Wow.
Yeah, 10th.
Oh, and in 2024 you took second. Holy cow.
Yeah, that one stung a little.
Oh, who won? Did Colton win it?
No, Koski.
Oh, okay. And then so you do well in the Open this year, and then how did you do in quarterfinals?
Third.
Wow. Holy cow. And are you building confidence as you see those numbers, a second and a third?
Yeah, I know that none of it matters if you don't get to the games. So like, even this year I felt like I put too much, and I tried not to. Like, if I would have redone the first Open workout, I think I would have placed a lot higher. And that was always my mindset, was like, I'll redo all of these workouts. I want to win it. One, you can make money along the way, but two, I think it builds your confidence going into the season, right? Of like, hey, I finished top 5 here, top 5 here. Like, you got it. Now, if you go and you finish 150th and then like 50th, you're like, man, am I really that good? Like, am I losing it? So I always think that it's good to have that momentum. But I do definitely felt like I felt it this year by doing, it was the Open, then I did Wadapalooza, then I did quarterfinals, and then I went right to Mayhem. And like, that was always the goal, was to qualify at Mayhem. But I had like a 6-week stretch where I felt like it was like event after event after event after event, to where I wasn't actually progressing my training. I was just kind of holding on, and it wasn't like actually specific to like semifinal training. Um, and I definitely felt that at Mayhem a little bit, where my training didn't feel like the pieces came together like I wanted to. And I definitely felt like I was just kind of like puttering along and like almost getting through. And I felt like my fire just wasn't necessarily there just from everything that I did up to that point. And it made me kind of step back of like, okay, like let's focus on syndicate. Let's take I think it was like 6 weeks. Let's take a solid 6 weeks and let's get a nice build going into that. And let's like truly like actually focus, visualize on syndicate and qualifying there, and that being the last stop.
And it ended up being 5 weeks because, as I heard on the Spincast, you were sick the week before
Yeah.
Syndicate.
Yeah.
That being said, these are maybe the best finishes of your career, right? For open quarter as an aggregate.
2022 was probably my best year that I had. I think it was 22. I won the open. Quarterfinals was okay, and then I won my semifinal. But I definitely feel like we're pretty similar to that. I think at that was the MAC in 22. I took 2 first, a second, a fifth, and a 11th.
And how did you do at the games that year?
11th.
Oh, okay, 11th. So, okay,
I went into that year at the games with a little bit of a shoulder injury, and I felt like it was. I think that's one of the hardest things is if you get one of these little tweaks. It's not even that you can't physically do it, but I think it just kind of messes with your head. For me, at least, I could say that you almost lose a little bit of that fire of like, instead of your thought process being on like, hey, I'm here to win, your thought process is like, hey, am I good? Is this gonna hurt, right? And like, I just remember like even sleeping going into the games, like all I kept thinking, I would wake up at 2 a.m. I'd be like, does it feel better, right? And I felt like I had like 2-3 weeks of that, even at the games of like, does it feel better? And I think that that's something for me I always want to like protect now with my programming as to like, hey, if there's any types of injuries that are coming up, you need to address it now and not try and be this tough guy of be like, no, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Like, you will be a much more dangerous athlete by being healthy than pushing through a session when nobody's watching and really like nobody cares, right? All people care about is like, how are you going to show up at the games and you're going to be able to compete? And I think that was something that I lacked early on.
Saxon, I'm thinking about you as an athlete, and you're strong, good runner, like you're so. Oh, I can't think. I'm trying to think where there's a weakness in your game. Do you have a weakness in your game?
I feel that, I mean, as long as I'm doing my job right, I feel like the goal is no. I felt like early on, a lot of it was machines, and I wasn't a bad endurance guy, but I wouldn't win those events for being 185 pounds, like one of the lighter ones in the field. Felt like, hey, I should probably win like these running events or at least be top 5. Same thing on the machines. I felt like from 2018 on, I think machines were introduced more. And I think if you look from 2018 early on, like for example, right, like you look at like Rich's era, right, and Dan Bailey and those guys.
Yeah,
I think the only machine those guys ever used at the games was the rower, right? I think 2015 the double.
I approve of that. I
agree. And I think if you look at the athlete, like they've evolved significantly to being 210 probably. 210, like close to 6 foot. And I don't think there's anything wrong. Like for me as an athlete, I need to be able to adapt to that. But like when you look early on, the average athlete, I remember in 2017 when everything was based off body weight, we did Linda, and it was at 195, right? And that was like the average body weight. And I think that's gone up about 10 to 15 pounds to now.
Yeah, the guys really have gotten big. I want to say Colton even shows up at events at 190.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I asked Colton because I remember he was like 180, 185. He was one of the lighter ones at the games. I'm like, that's about what I'm at. But like you look at Nate at Syndicate, and the next fastest time I believe was like almost 14 minutes. That was almost 2 minutes behind where me and Colton were, and people were just getting caught up on 80 strict handstand push-ups. I felt like, when I came up, we were doing 120 chest to bars in a workout, 120 strict handstand push-ups, 15 legless rope climbs, a lot of these, like, I have like these gymnastics benchmarks of like, hey, this should be pretty standard. And for me, I'm like, I could have slowed down by almost a minute and like still been okay. So that's something obviously like I'm thinking about going into the games is like, okay, well, where do I need to improve? And like, am I okay stepping a little bit away from here? So like, I'll focus a little bit more on the machines. I'll focus a little bit more on the weightlifting, and then really just maintain that gymnastics.
Yeah, I guess that is the one area where I don't think of you. Not that I think you're bad, but yeah, when I think of machines, yeah, I don't think that that's like your forte. And unfortunately, that's a shame because I am not a fan of the machines.
Well, and I think it's not even like, I mean, you just look, if you have more weight to you, right? So like you look at Jason Hopper, he was 235. The only reason I know that is that's what he benched at Rogue, right? Someone 235 compared to 185 on an Echo bike, he might be working at 70% and I'm working at 95%. And
Yeah.
again, that's not complaining. That's just reality. It's the same thing that, if we were doing gymnastics, like you would expect, if we were to do 30 ring muscle ups for time, that he might be a little bit slower there compared to somebody that weighs 185 pounds. And like everything is kind of give and take there. But those are things that, as an athlete, you need to be able to analyze and be like, okay, well, I clearly don't need to be doing, 120 chest to bars a week. And, if I can take that time and energy and put it into the machines, we're going to become a more well-rounded athlete. And I'm sure he's doing the same thing with gymnastics. All these guys are.
Are you injury free right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, congratulations.
Sickness. I was sick. I will say that, like, if you listen to some of my interviews, Ian was there. He's trying to talk to me after some of the events, and I'm just like, just coughing. I kind of felt bad. I was coughing all over everybody there.
What was your sickness? You had a cold?
I don't know what it was, whether it was allergies or, I mean, my kids got sick like the week before, and like there was something going around inside the gym, and that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, it was just like congestion, cough, and I just felt like the more intensity that I put into my training, the worse that cough would get. To where, like, I remember I didn't do any core because I was coughing so much that like my stomach hurt the week before, and I was
Wow.
like, if I do any more, like, I'm not gonna be. I can hardly move. I might give myself rhabdo.
Okay, so it was you were sick.
I mean, yeah, it was
Like
a pretty
coughing
nasty
up
cough.
chunks and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, were you at Rogue that year that there was something blowing around in the air and people were getting destroyed from allergies? Do you remember that?
I had COVID the one year, and I remember I was like breathing through a straw, and that was like
At
bad.
Rogue.
Yeah, like I peed my pants. I think we talked about it before. I think I came on here and said it after. But
Wow.
yeah, that's
I
like the
didn't-
one thing you need to protect your nervous system. And that's where I like doing like a lot of like heart rate tracking, is looking at my HRV. I think it's an early indicator of like your nervous system. So like if you start to see your HRV tank in training, then for me, I always add more zone 2, just more of like that steady state. And I tend to notice that my body's able to bounce back a little bit. If my HRV is tanking and I go and do a ton of high intensity, chances are you're going to take yourself to a position where you are going to end up getting sick.
What's HRV?
Heart rate variability.
And,
So like
and
I'll
what's
look
that
at that
measure?
and like and
What's
I'll
that
look
measure?
at that basically
The time
I just
between your heart rate beats?
yeah. There it is.
Physiological measurement of the natural millisecond by millisecond variation in time between your consecutive heartbeats. Okay, you want it to be consistent.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I just tend to notice if I start to see that fall a little bit, then I need to adjust my training.
And by fall, you mean the length of time between them gets longer, or they're just not consistent?
So like when I wake up, typically my HRV is like 70 to 80. I'd even like to get that a little bit higher, but if I start to see it go into like the 50s, 60s, sometimes it can even go lower than that. Like look up the average healthy HRV for a 29-year-old.
But all of those numbers must be different for you, being that you have a fully trained heart, right? Than what's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. But all I'm looking for is consistency.
Okay, consistency. Okay.
hmm and of course, I took mine off after row because I felt like I was looking at it a little bit too much. Yeah. But
And where?
as you get older, it drops.
Oh,
But
okay.
like I have a 18-year-old that I work with, and his HRV is like 180 every day, and I'm like, dang.
Wow. Meaning he's getting just insane blood flow.
Yeah. But I saw so like I'll use this for some of my clients to like actually gauge anyone that wants to compete a little bit, and I'll adjust their training based off of that. And it was funny because I saw his dip, and I was like, "Hey man, I think we should just take it easy a little bit." He goes, "I feel good. I want to do a little bit more." I'm like, "I think you should rest." And he ended up like going for it. He ended up getting sick. So like it could be a coincidence, but man, I just think that it's something that is low hanging fruit that you can add to your training.
How did you come across that? Did someone teach you that?
Yeah, I actually have a performance coach that I work. I call my performance coach. He's really like a really good friend of mine, where we do a lot of mindset. And we just always are talking about health and how you can improve your health and mindset and different things like that. So he was talking to me a lot about incorporating zone 2 into training. And because he's been to the games with me like so many times and has always kind of been one of my like guys with me. And so he was telling me a little bit about it and how he incorporates it into his daily life. And it was something that I started to play with through the open and quarterfinals and things like that. And this is like the first year that I feel like I actually did that. And it gave me a really good gauge and I felt like I stayed the healthiest. And then after Mayhem, I took my tracker off and I was like, I'm just going to train as hard as I can and let's just go get it. It worked, but I ended up getting sick.
Oh,
But
interesting. Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard any other athlete talk about that ever.
Yeah, maybe it's just me, or maybe people just don't talk about it.
Right. Right. And who is your coach? Who's your coach?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of people around me that I have. So obviously, I'm with Mayhem. I always appreciate those guys, and they've always been there for me whenever I need it. So I have a coach. His name's Matt Burke. He's somebody that I worked with when I was with Proven. His wife competed, and he was somebody that I just grew a really great relationship with. And for me and him just bounce a lot of ideas off of each other with training and like different progressions that we want to use going into events. So he's with Mayhem. And then I also I call him, there he is.
So he used to be with Proven and now he's with Mayhem.
He was never a coach with Proven, but his wife was with Proven and he was always
Okay.
like in there. So
Okay.
I looked at him as a coach. He was just somebody that he watched me since 2022 to present day. And he was just somebody that I felt was always very knowledgeable and was just looking at different ways to improve outside of just programming, right? Like, hey, are we having negative splits? Hey, you started to fall off here. And he has a really good eye to like actually watching training on a daily basis. And I think that that's one of those things that I can really appreciate in person specifically, because when you're training, you're pushing the boundaries and, you're just doing what you need to do, right? So to have somebody to actually sit there and write your splits down and really like break it down for you of like, hey, you weren't extending here. Like as you got tired, this started to happen. He has a really good eye for that. But honestly, just a really good friend of mine. And then I also have his name's Greg, who's more of my performance coach, where we're doing a lot more of. You're not going to find him, but more
Shot.
mindset. More mindset. He's somebody that I've worked with since 2018.
What's his last name?
Russo.
And
You
where
won't
did you meet
find him.
him?
Through a friend, and he was somebody that believed in me since 2018. He was somebody that I really kind of had a lot of blind faith in, and he believed in me without even knowing me. And the dude has been there from the get-go, and he's been there for the highs, he's been there for the lows, and he's never left my side all the way. And I think that that's something that me and him work with is like, hey, how do we move the needle in areas outside of training? There he is.
What is that? Oh yeah, good job, Caleb. You're like, fuck you, Saxon. Got him.
Yeah, you did. That's
Don't
Boss
test
Rutan.
me.
Boss Rutan's another guy. He's he created this thing called the O2 trainer, which is like a breathing device, which actually helps you train your lungs. And that was
Oh, I've
someone.
seen that thing.
Yeah. So Greg introduced me.
Are
to
you there
him.
with Boz Rutan right there? Wow,
Yeah.
you met him? Wow, that's crazy.
Listen, you want to hear a funny story? So I
Please.
remember I was telling Greg, I was like, I would spar with. I think Boss is. I think he's 58, maybe 60.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Greg, I was like, I'd spar him. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. I was like, I would easily spar him. And he goes, hey, boss, Saxon said he would spar you. This dude, almost 60, threw a leg kick and just put me to my knees.
And he hit you in the stomach?
No, to my leg.
Oh, yeah. He's a bad dude, man. He is a bad dude. Yeah.
He said, someone said that to me last time.
He had
and he
to
said,
invent fighting. He basically, he's like unbelievable. His backstory is unbelievable. He was like doing MMA when no one knew what MMA was, and he had to basically invent fighting moves. He's a wild dude.
I think you're the first person that actually knew who he was. Like, and I always ask people,
God.
and I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's I mean, everyone in the fight scene knows who he is. He's truly one of the most remarkable human beings ever.
Yeah.
What was that like meeting him? Did he have a good vibe in person?
Oh, he has such a good vibe. He's somebody that you would just want to hang out with and just hear stories. Like we just kind of sat there the one night and he was just telling us some of the stories that he has. And yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. But yeah, O2 trainer. That was something that Greg introduced me to. And then Bosco, we went down there just to work with him for the weekend on just some breathing exercises. And then we did a podcast with him. And yeah.
His Instagram's crazy because, like you said, he's old and he still moves like a dream. His movements are incredible.
Oh, it's crazy. What was it? He was like one of the first guys that made like an at-home training video. You might be able to find it on there. And I think he was trying to bring it back. And he said it was like one of the things that really allowed him to kind of take off. He's in movies. He's an actor now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Does he play bad guys? I could see him being a good bad guy.
Hey, I think he was in one with The Rock that just came out. And he was in, I think he was maybe the school teacher in, what's the one movie? Here Comes the Boom.
Yeah, he's got an extra chromosome or something.
Yeah.
Hey, so you use that O2 trainer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, you're giving away your secrets.
Here's the thing. I tell people about it and people just don't stick with it.
Right.
It wasn't. I remember Camille, she said that in the old like CrossFit documentary. She was like, everybody wants to ask me how to get a muscle up. There it is, boss. I'm going to send him a picture of that. But Camille was talking about that in a documentary. I want to say it was like 2014. She was like, everybody asked me how to get a muscle up. And I'm like, you need to do ring rows, ring dips. And she like showed some of these different drills. And then like people will come up to her like a month later and be like, hey, I didn't get it. What, did you do the drills? No. $59.99. Use code Saxon.
Maybe I should get that. Maybe I should get that for my kids.
It's really cool. I mean, I kind of made my own protocols up with it because he has some different ones on there. But it's just a cool thing to kind of play with. I do it every night before bed.
Do you think he uses it religiously?
Absolutely. He's yoked. He's yoked.
Yes.
I mean, what it does is like if we can strengthen our diaphragm and we could strengthen everything here, it's going to make all of your lifts significantly better, I think, and just protect you. I think that we're all very efficient breathers. Like if you actually look at, like if you go into a gym and you watch people breathe, everybody's breathing with their chest and nobody's actually breathing with their diaphragm and like really like belly breathing. And I think that is one of the reasons why we could see a lot of injuries in the space because we're inefficient breathers. So like, you know, when we're doing CrossFit, if you're just like a deadlift, right? If you're moving inefficiently and you load it, you're going to get hurt, right? Okay, well, if you're breathing inefficiently and you load it, what's going to happen? Well, you could potentially get hurt. So if you can actually teach yourself to breathe the right way, I think it's something that will help you significantly. And I just think it's low hanging fruit. It's not like you have to go out and do Fran in your garage to get better, or like sit on an Echo bike to get better. It's something you could literally do sitting on your couch at night.
I was at this is early, this is like 2009 or 10, and I was at a Brian McKenzie, a running certification, and me and this other person went and we're talking to someone, and the physio or whatever told the girl, hey, breathe using your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And so she breathes. He's like, no, breathe using your stomach. Breathe into your stomach. And she fucking couldn't do it and didn't know what he was talking about. And I remember tripping balls. I was like, if you don't breathe into your stomach, how do you shit?
Right. Right.
I
Seriously.
remember just sitting there being like, how does a human being who doesn't breathe in their stomach take a shit? But she couldn't do it. She had no fucking idea. She didn't even know what he was talking about. And I was like,
everybody's mouth
trippy
breathers
shit.
too. Like if you look at it, like there's a really cool documentary on mouth breathing. Are you a mouth breather, you think? Like
Me?
you sleep,
No.
like,
No. Well, I don't know. I hope not. My wife's been saying I've been snoring a lot lately, which is crazy because I
tape
feel
those
like
lips, man.
Yeah. Oh, do you tape your lips?
Yeah.
When I see my kids with their mouth open at night, I walk over to them while they're sleeping and close their mouth.
So do I.
Squeeze.
So do I.
I squeeze their lips together and they stick.
That was the one thing I liked about Binkies, was like they at least kept their mouth shut.
This is the documentary you're saying that's good?
No, I don't think that was it. No. But it was, I don't know exactly what it was, but like it was interesting because they talk about like the jawline and like even people's noses, and you could actually see people's faces change based off of how they're breathing.
I wonder why I see a lot of old people breathing with their mouths open, or like when I look around on a plane, if there's like some old person asleep, they'll be like this.
That's,
you know what I
pretty
mean?
spot on.
And I'm like, wow.
Like you could, yeah.
I just use a vertical strip of Scotch tape. Works well. Oh, there you go.
I struggled with it at first though, because like I was tracking a lot of my respiratory rate. So like how many times I was breathing at night. And it was interesting. I was able to get it all the way down to 11 breaths per minute. I think, 11 breaths per minute at night. And then whenever I first started mouth taping, it went all the way up to like 18, 19. So like, obviously if you can reduce how many breaths you're taking in every minute while you sleep, that's going to calm your nervous system a lot more, which is obviously going to enhance recovery, but I think also enhance performance, which I think is obviously very big. I don't know where I was going to go with that. So like when I first started mouth taping, I would leave like a little gap there so I could still breathe through my mouth a little bit and keep that respiratory rate down. And then like as it got better, you're able to fully shut it.
Yeah, that's cool shit. I really like that. I haven't done the tape, but maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Zip.
Everyone thinks they're gonna like stop breathing. I did.
Your lips will just rip it open if you have to breathe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like super glue. I've always thought of that. That what a crazy torture that would be to super glue someone's lips together and then one of their nostrils and tell them if they don't tell you, like, you know, where the fucking.
It would have to open, right?
I think you could super glue. Matter of fact, I don't like my kids anywhere near super glue because I'm always afraid they'll do something stupid like that. I have more fear of that than anything. Oh God, 3 boys. They would super glue each other's lips and nose shut. What happened to him? How did he die? We super glued all his holes shut. The fuck? I mean, you'd have to just take your hands, I think, and just rip
you just rip it. It is what it is at that point.
Yeah. Oh God. You didn't compete in 2024. 2025. You didn't compete.
Yeah.
I heard a really crazy story. I don't know if you want to tell the story or you want me to say the story. I'll just say the story. I heard that when you got the job with WFP, that there was a stipulation in your contract that you couldn't do the open because you had to stay focused on your work. And I heard that because of that, then your sponsors said, hey, we're not going to pay you if you don't do the open. And your sponsors didn't pay you, and then you weren't able to keep your house, and you lost your house. And I was just like, when I heard that story, I was like, I started getting like secondhand stress.
Yeah.
I was like, is there truth to that story?
Well, I'm in a new house.
Oh fuck.
So there is truth to
I
that
don't want to
story.
say. I don't want to say. I can't. I don't want to go into too much of it. But I did lose a lot, and
Was that your fault because you didn't read the contract, or?
man, at the end of the day, is I feel like I could point fingers to everybody that I want to, and I feel like
Yeah.
I've kind of done that in the past. And at the end of the day, man, I I have to take ownership for everything, even whether
Right.
like
Right.
that's it.
Right.
And I put my family in a really hard position. We lost a lot, and yeah, I want to rebuild everything. I felt like I lost a lot of my reputation within the CrossFit space, and that was never my thought or intention. Um,
You didn't wake up one morning and be like, "Fuck, I'm jumping off the cliff."
yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Isn't it
But yeah,
crazy? Matter of fact, it was probably the other way, right? You actually probably thought you were doing something
for
beneficial.
sure,
Yes.
absolutely. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
listen,
Yeah.
I CrossFit has played a huge role in my life,
And
and I
there's
think a
very few
lot.
families who've contributed as much to the space and the reputation as your family too. I mean, what a gentleman, all three of you are, and your parents are class acts.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And, I feel that there's a lot that I wish I could change, but, this is where we are. And I want to make good to what I set out to do and accomplish. And I would say few people have really like fully understand the story behind everything. And I don't want to go out there and just blast it. And, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And there's nothing that I can change other than, what's to come and the impact that I can have. I don't want to sit here and point fingers at anybody except myself. So, yeah, I really hope that, this year and, what I want to accomplish and what I want to build and the impact I want to have can be really good for the CrossFit community. And I'd say that's something that I'm really excited about.
Um, where do you think you learn that at? Like, this absolute accountability and personal responsibility. Where do you think you learn that?
Through not having it. Uh, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's it, like even like whenever I got hurt when I was with Proven and like just everything in life, I think it's easy for us to be victims and it to be somebody else's fault. And I felt like at a young age that I've always wanted to point the fingers at anybody else. But at the end of the day, man, we wake up every single day and we make those choices. And you have the choice whether you want to show up and you want to do that or whether you don't. And as to like what other people tell you, you can't blame anyone else. So I just feel like I did that a little bit early on, but that's where we learn, that's where we grow. And if you didn't do those things, then you're never going to grow.
It's amazing how much better you actually feel when you keep the power inside and look at what you could have done different instead of blame. It's fascinating. I'll give you an example. Recently, I said on a podcast, athletes that don't schmooze the media are fucktarded, and Jenny clipped it, and I
Yeah.
saw it, and I remember thinking, I hated the way I looked when I was saying that. I was like, wow, that does not look good. I do not like that. And I never once thought to myself, talk to Jenny. I'm very close with her. I never once thought, oh, I need to talk to Jenny about not clipping stuff, or I just only looked in at myself. And I remember thinking a couple days passed, and I remember thinking, wow, I wonder, like 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I would have totally like called her or been like, hey, you need to be careful, which I didn't never even entered my mind. And I was like, wow. And I felt so much better gaining something from the situation
For
than
sure.
losing something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you realize, I mean, you need hard times in your life because that's where you grow. And I think you also realize when you're going through those hard times of like, hey, who's with you and who's not.
Right.
And
Right. Right. Right.
and I noticed that circle just gets smaller and smaller, but that circle also gets, I think, almost like a little bit more powerful and meaningful. And like, who your true friends and family really are. during that. And I think that for me, that allows me to continue to step forward with the confidence and team around me that I know truly want to see me thrive and succeed and are looking out for my best interest as I am them. And I think that that's one thing that I give a lot of people maybe a little bit too much credit is like, I think everybody's kind of like, almost like me, right? Like I want to see people thrive. I want to see them succeed. And I wouldn't say that that's always reciprocated. And, you know, sometimes that leads to hard times. And again, that's where we grow. So I don't, yeah, yeah.
Another very telling aspect of where you are in your life is when you said you put your family in a really hard situation. Not that you put yourself in a hard situation, not complaining about that, but that you put your family, and that's so awesome. That means you've completely flipped the script. You're in full service. Like just the way you described that, for all the families out there and all the moms and dads out there, that one really hit home when you said that. You put your family in a tough situation. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? They get to, as much as I hate it, they got to be a part of that process.
Yeah.
That I hope that I can be there to make sure that they don't make those same mistakes, right? And they see it. I mean, like I look at it as like my kids, like I had to rip them out of their school, right, where they were at, and they had all of their friends, and you know, to where we are now, it's like it's something that I feel bad about. But again, I think it's a way for us to all grow. And grow in different ways, in different directions. And, you know, like, you know, it led me up here to Cleveland with my family, and to actually continue to grow those relationships with my parents, my brothers, my sister, my wife's family, different things like that, to where, you know, we were very happy in Tennessee where we were. But yeah, it allowed us to grow in a different way. And, you know, you just kind of got to take it as it comes and grow where you can. And and I think that this is something I struggled with, especially during like the open and quarterfinals, was like, what did I do? Like, I really messed up, I felt. And I felt like I couldn't find success and happiness because of that. And I think it was something that actually like affected me competing. And I felt like soon as I just accepted things with where they were and like just found happiness where I'm at, that's where I actually started to feel that things were getting better.
Yeah. Another very telling, a lot of telling things about your life. When you talked about Greg Gross and you said he believes in me, that always seems to be a theme with athletes, the ones that are like on solid footing because they've surrounded with themselves with people who believe in them, right? And that's huge. And then this other guy that you met, Matt Burke, that's kind of like the faith component. He's not a proven coach, not a mayhem coach, just a dude
He's a
out
mayhem
there.
coach.
Oh, he's okay, mayhem coach, but he wasn't at the time, right?
Right.
And
he was somebody. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure my kid's not crying.
Yeah, please. Well, what are you going to do if they are crying? Just throw them a biscuit.
Bring them onto the show.
One crying child coming up.
Perfect.
I got
nothing to help the ratings.
But I will say this: like I look at like Matt. You know, he was there when I departed the WFP, and I said, "Hey, listen, man, I want to do Rogue," and everybody was just like, "There's no way." You sat there like and the field is filled with studs now. Like
I would have said that too. I always think coming back as an athlete must be the hardest thing ever in this space, especially.
For sure. And I was like, "No, I'm doing this," and he's like, "Yeah, we are." And I remember we went through the Rogue workouts. And I remember like it was in maybe 90 minutes before the submission window closed. And I started to see some of the scores coming. I'm like, I need to go redo this one. And, you know, I just left the gym and I'm like 30 minutes from the gym. I text him. I'm like, hey, we need to redo this one. Dude showed back up at the gym. We redid it. We did better. And it put me in a position to go to Rogue. You know, and I think to be able to kind of have that faith and trust all the way through and actually see the vision that I have, that's something special. And I don't think that's something that you necessarily always come around. And you can feel when a coach or friend actually genuinely like believes in you. and then those other ones that are just kind of checking the boxes. And he's somebody that I truly know actually believes that everything I say I'm going to go do.
There's this we were talking about this the other day on the show. I think I was talking about with Taylor, people who don't speak to strangers never meet angels. And it's interesting that what I found fascinating is Gross believes in you, and then this other guy is just kind of a rando, but you gave him a chance and an opening, and he proved to be valuable,
Absolutely.
like crazy valuable, and they believe in you. How about your wife? What?
She, I'll just spit it out. I mean, my hat goes off to her. She's given up everything and believes in me more than anyone I know. And I mean, that was all the way from 2015 when I was 155 pounds soaking wet, saying that I was going to go win the CrossFit Games. It was something that she genuinely believed. And, for her to, we went 6 months without making any money. Right. And she was willing to make sure that, I was able to train and do everything that I needed to. I mean, we sold so much stuff just to be able to pay our rent, and her to be able to take care of our kids during that process, and then to go and qualify for Rogue, and then to be able to go and, do well in the Open and quarterfinals, and to go win the semifinal. She believes more than anyone. And even whenever I doubt myself a little bit, and I felt like those were questions that I kind of had a little bit. And you need those people that believe in you when you don't necessarily have the full belief in yourself.
Yeah, I would say that's the craziest thing. I feel like my wife is, even when I'm doubting myself, my wife always believes in me.
Yeah,
and my mom and my sister, all the women in my life. I feel like I've been fortunate. They've always just believed in me. They always got my back.
Absolutely. Like, she drove down with the 3 kids by herself. It was 8 hours down to Tennessee just for them to be a part of that. And we didn't know if I was gonna go to the games.
Right.
But she believed, and she just loaded the kids up. Everyone thought she was crazy, and she did it anyways. And sure enough, we did. I remember we were sitting there before the final event, and everyone's like, "Oh man, how's it feel? How's it feel?" I'm like, "I'm about to throw up. What do you mean? I haven't done anything yet." And she's the same way. She's like, I'm like dry heaving in front of the kids. And
this is at Syndicate this year.
Yeah. And we both felt that. I feel like what I feel, she feels. She might not always show, and she continues to pour that belief in, even though I know she couldn't watch any of the events. She just listened to them. And just because she would get so nauseous. But everything worked out the way that it needed to, and that's something that I'm grateful for, and that's something I'm excited about.
When you go to Syndicate and you qualify, and Spencer goes to NorCal and doesn't qualify, do you feel that?
What do you mean?
Like, I just see my boys, especially the twins, but the boys, they're so connected. Like, if one cries, the other two, if one's hurt, the other two will run over there. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're one creature. They can't even distinguish where one starts. And if one's crying, the other one will start getting very emotional and try to console him. Yeah. And so I just wonder, having a twin. Obviously, you're a lot older than my twins, but do you feel that? Like, is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was something we talked together the whole weekend, and just kind of reflected on the events, and really just kind of gassing each other up, And I think he took 4th out there, so he was 2 spots shy, but he started off a little bit rough on the first event. He had some asthma kick up, and
it was outside. That's interesting. Was it? Do you think it had to do with the fact that it's outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said he had
an
asthma attack.
There's shit blowing around. Yeah, there's shit blowing around.
He said it was
everywhere.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for him to crawl back to 4th, I don't want to say crawl back, but storm to 4th, is freaking awesome. So I truly believe and know that he'll get his ticket on the online qualifier, and it's going to be hell of a ride at the games.
Do you have to protect yourself from that? Like, do you guys have to protect yourself from thinking about each other in these situations?
No, I don't think so. I would prefer that than us be at the same event. Like, I'm cool with us being at the same event at the games where we can kind of soak it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, like, we step in the tunnel at the same event. It's like you got to lock in, and that's it.
Yeah. Recently, my sons were at a jiu-jitsu tournament, and in the finals, they had to go against each other. And and I told them, I prefer you guys don't fight. And they said, okay. And one of them threw the match. And the judge talked to him and he said, hey, if I see you guys throw a match again, we'll disqualify you. And I told him, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not. But obviously that's different. Them fighting each other is obviously different than, competing in a track and field type event.
I remember Spence and we wrestled. Like, we started to wrestle in high school when we moved to Ohio, and the coach they would always want to like put me and Spence up against each other because I mean wrestlers, they cut a lot of weight. So like I would
Yeah.
say like pound for pound, like we're like, yo, we need as much weight as we can for CrossFit. Like we're not
Yeah.
cutting anything. And I remember they would put us up against each other, and nobody would go down. And I remember we would go till we were just gassed. Like it would be
Yeah.
like a
Just
15-minute
war.
match.
Yeah. Yeah, and these dudes fight each other every single day in the house. I mean, they I don't need to take them somewhere, pay $150 and let one of them get injured and them just go fucking balls to the wall and hurt each other. And I remember even one of their coaches said he's fine with them not fighting each other. The other one wanted them to fight each other. I'm like, no, they're not fighting each other. And there was 3,000 people there. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can make that decision for themselves when they get older. Do you feel like all of that stuff is behind you now, by the way? Like, do you feel like obviously like you said, you're in a new house, you have a rack behind you. Do you feel like that's behind you, that big hump?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Like
But
you're
I
still
was
processing it and still rebuilding
no,
from it?
like no,
No.
I'm
Oh.
done. Like it's processed. Like
Oh, okay.
I have peace with it, but I'm still rebuilding, man. And
Yeah.
I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish yet. And for me, it's staying dialed in and locked in and making this the best season yet. And that, until that happens, I won't forget.
So it's kind of fuel for you.
I don't want to say it's fuel, but like yes and no, because I think that fuel comes internally. And I think if you don't have a bigger purpose and reason other than like external factors, then that's always going to fizzle out. But it's definitely one of those things that, I won't forget. And I need to continue to remember like, hey, we're still rebuilding. We're still building everything back that, I kind of lost over the last few years. And like I said, yeah, until I accomplish what I set out to do, that'll always kind of be sitting there on my shoulder.
You've witnessed a lot of games, and we're going into the 20th games, and I think it's fair to say that there was the Lazar Jukic incident of his death, and then we had the 25 games, which felt pretty safe. Not safe in terms of not dangerous, but just like, hey, these are the workouts. No one pulled out that year, which is fascinating, right? I can't remember a year no one pulled out, and now we go into the 20th anniversary. Do you have any thoughts or expectations? Like, are you like, holy, like this one's going to be...
I'm so excited to be a part of this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Dave talking about this one years ago of saying like,
Yeah.
I think he said after the 20th year, he wanted to go overseas. But I think that this is going to be something that people will remember. And it's close to the ranch. I mean, I don't see us not going out to the ranch for maybe like a Thursday. And I think for people to experience that, like I was lucky enough, I got to go do the demo team in 2020. So I went out there with Dave and ran through the whole weekend like before. And then I came out again, do it on the demo team. And I think that is just one of the coolest experiences. I think as an athlete, that's something that every athlete in the CrossFit space would want to experience.
What is your relationship like with Dave? He seemed more protective of you than I expected as you went through sort of the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Dave was the first call whenever I did depart the WFP. He was one of my first calls that I talked to and kind of chatted with him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, me and Dave always had a great relationship. Like I said, I think 2020 when I went out there and spent a little bit of time like on the ranch with him going through those, that was probably one of the best years that I've ever had, because although I wasn't competing, I got to see a little bit behind the scenes on everything and kind of be a part of that process, which was really special.
You know, it was a trip. He called me, but this is before you went to WFP. He called me. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble saying this. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to do a show with Saxon." And I'm like, "Have you told him?" He goes, "No." He goes, "But I just want to pull up comments and have Saxon do the interviews, and I just basically just chill and just fucking take jabs at people." And I was like, "Fuck, that's awesome." So I think he does he usually doesn't, even though he probably has a soft spot for a lot of people, he usually doesn't show it, but it's obvious he really likes your whole family, you know? And so I think he was pretty happy that that you took that journey and that he, you know, somehow he feels like he got you back.
I look forward to going on his interview. I think he's interviewing all the athletes.
Yeah, he's so much better than he was last year. Holy cow. It's
I got
so much
questions for
better.
him.
Oh, good.
See if I can get something out of him.
So here's the thing. The fact that he told Jason Hopper that there's 50-point workouts, that makes me think that this is going to be a world-class beatdown, that this is going to be
20 events. There will be 20 events.
That would be nuts. Wow.
Clip it. No, I'll ask Dave. I mean, he did that on the 15th anniversary. We did 15 events.
Okay.
And that was my best year.
So you're not afraid of you're not afraid of the hardest games
Man,
ever.
if he could make it a week, like make it a week. 2,000, just make it 2,000 points. What are we doing 50 points for?
But what's the best message after you won the semifinals? What was the best message you got on your phone?
Honestly, I wouldn't say it was like, I don't think there was any message that was like the best message. I really think I felt like this was the first year that I was able to be present and like actually like sit back and enjoy it. Of like, we went through a lot of hard stuff, but like we did it. And I felt like, you know, the people that were there were the people that believed in me from the get-go and were there through all of the hard things and the things that I went through. And I think that that was one of the things that I was most grateful for. You know, to be able to like have my kids there on the floor with me and for them to come on the podium. That was probably the most, and my wife, of course, but that was probably one of the most special things that I felt competing.
Do you share any of these people that you have in your cohort with Spencer? Like, does Matt do any work with Spencer?
He coaches Spence. Yeah, he
coaches
Spencer.
Does.
Yeah, he's actually coming up on Wednesday to coach him through the online.
Wow. How close does Spencer live to you?
He's south a little bit. Like I'm like 10 minutes from Scott's gym. Spencer's probably 45 minutes south of me.
Oh, so you're close.
Yeah.
Do you see him every week?
Probably close to every week, if not every 2 weeks. It's a hike for him.
I heard you say on the Spincast that you're going to test the workouts for him.
Yeah, I told him I would.
That's really cool.
Yeah. He'll get there.
You say that like you're regretting it. You're like, yeah.
I mean, we'll see what they are. You know, he's going to be like, hey, I want you to do this dirty 30-minute AMRAP or something like that.
And what about Gross? Does he use Gross also, Greg?
He did early on. Now Greg is pretty much just with me.
And what about Scott? What role does he play in your life?
He's kind of the hype man. He's always been the mentor. Honestly, I would say like Scott early on shaped a lot of who we are as an athlete, and how we compete and who we are, you know, on camera and things like that. And, you know, being able to, I mean, I remember I was his coach in 2014. Me and Spence would always kind of like filter on and off of like who was his coach at the games early on. And he always wanted to really share that process with us and to be able to see the highs and the lows of the weekend. Scott's always been a great mentor to any athlete in the space. And I think that that's something that we don't see as much in this space of like old veterans just taking athletes under the wings to kind of shape that. For me, that's something that I want to do, eventually when I'm done, even while I'm competing. That's something I saw Scott really start to do on the tail end of his career, like as an individual. Was I remember we were sitting at an athlete dinner the one night, and it was me, him, and a few of the other athletes, and he was really just he was kind of giving us the old grandpa dad talk where it's like, listen, guys, like the weekends are gonna go quick. You're gonna have a lot of highs, you're gonna have a lot of lows, but just know like anybody would be grateful to step on that floor for one event,
Mm.
and don't take it for granted. And those are really the things that kind of stick with me.
Did your parents go to semifinals?
No.
Do they normally?
Well, there's so many of us, and and I think that like Spence was competing the one, like who are they going to go to? Honestly,
Right.
it's really hard for my dad to watch us compete when we're going against each other, because it's like you want to root for both or all three. And like, somebody's going to do well. Like if somebody's doing really well and someone's not, it's like, well, what do you say? What do you do? Like I remember during quarterfinals, he couldn't come into the gym to watch because he just gets so stressed out. And then, of course, Spence and I took third and Spence took fourth. And he was like, like finally, like I can be happy for everybody.
That's funny. When my kids are fighting in the house, I always root for whoever's losing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you kind of have to. I mean, I see that with
yeah.
my kids.
And then I
It's
feel
like,
bad. And then I feel bad, especially if the guy who was losing then gets the upper hand and wins. I'll be like, oh, fuck, I'm a dick.
yeah, exactly.
But they don't ever. I don't know if they hide it, but they never seem to get jealous or competitive for attention. They always just seem.
Do you notice that they kind of get more mad that they lost, if anything?
Yeah, they're really
Like
they're really
the
hard
winner
on
never
themselves.
rubs it in.
No, and the winner actually will feel bad.
Yeah.
That it is kind of interesting too when we go to tournaments. They always seem more happy. The happiest they feel is when their brothers win. They seem even happier when their brothers win than even they win. And I'm always
Yeah.
like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Did you guys ever feel? Did you ever feel like you had to get out from Scott's shadow, or did
No.
you feel like more like he paved the way, or
I mean,
something
he's
else?
still
I don't mean
paving
to.
the way. He's still
Yeah.
paving the way in the Masters.
Yeah.
I think I think it's easy to kind of look. I think it's all perspective. I think we all bring something different to the table, but I think the biggest thing is how can we do good for this space? I think we're all kind of set out on the same mission, and I think that is more of like people will always say like, hey, who led the way here? Like who's paving the way? And like, really like the questions that we have is like, hey, how do we have a greater impact? How do we actually come together and do something?
He really was in a special era too. And probably this better than most people. He was, like the trip he took to New Zealand, or just the ability that he was able to contribute. The athletes seem to have had greater opportunity, or at least embrace contributing to the community more 15 years ago than they are today.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of that is people always love the pioneers of new things, right?
Right.
And like
Right.
that is like that's what they know best. Like that's what kind of allowed it to grow. And I think it's really hard. I mean, it's kind of like you look at Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, but like Tom Brady will forever be the GOAT, no matter what. Like I think Patrick Mahomes can go do everything Tom Brady did and then some, but like it's still going to be Tom Brady, right? I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just what people are used to, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but that's kind of how I look at it. Kind of like Conor McGregor too.
Right. People will do a lot greater things than him, but he'll always be sort of have some GOAT status.
Yeah.
Goals to go and win the games. You feel like
Absolutely.
you just have. Yeah, you feel like you just have crazy. You feel great about your momentum.
Absolutely. I think momentum is everything. I mean, you can have positive, but you can also have negative momentum too. So you just want to make sure it's rolling in the right direction and you keep it rolling. But I would say I'm probably in the best headspace, which I'm excited about. And I would say more motivated than I ever have been.
You said this on the spin. You said, I know what I need to be feeling going into an event in order to perform well.
Yeah.
Can you describe that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, so I look at it as like different benchmarks that I kind of set for myself of like, for example, like if I can't hit a 275-pound snatch going into an event and the snatch comes up, like, what do I think is going to happen? Right. But like if I can hit 275 before an event, where you have the unknown, you're like, oh, I did this last week. So almost create these different anchors that you have in training. And that comes through like the exposure of like, I think training the right way. I think it's easy to go into a gym and just kind of beat your head against the wall and like, I'm doing everything that I'm terrible at. But there needs to be some aspect of confidence building as well when you're training, because really, man, I think everybody's going into these competitions close to just as fit, but like, where are you between the ears? And like, do
That
you genuinely believe in yourself? And I think if you can do that, and that's why I like Syndicate so much, is like, we had 2 weeks to train it. So like, you're almost able to allow your subconscious to take over and just kind of autopilot, and what to expect, which is great. So like, how do we do that going into the games?
what workout would you say you pushed through the biggest barrier in while you were doing it? Is
At
there one where
Syndicate,
you yeah, at Syndicate where you just like like at the end you're like, "Holy fuck, I pushed through that."
um, So I would say like the two events. There were three events. I mean, I knew that I could win Nate. I knew that I could win, but I knew Colton was going to be the one that I'd have to go through on Nate. Um, I wanted to put those kettlebells down,
And
and
that's daunting, isn't it, to have to go through Colton? I mean, there's a lot of great athletes out there, but the ones that he's good at are gonna be like world record, world class. Like they're like the ones he's good at, no one can beat him in.
absolutely. And I mean, if he didn't put the kettlebells down, Colton, if you're watching, man, like if he didn't put the kettlebells down on the last one, like I don't think there's anything else that I could have changed in that workout. It was just the fact that he put the kettlebells down on the last one, and it was like 1 or 2 seconds. But I would say like, so I felt good with Nate. I felt good with the handstand walk, and I felt good with the rope climb one. I knew that I could come close to winning each of those. And then the other three, I was a little bit nervous about. One was the overhead squat. Anything can happen on that. Like I got a no rep on one, and I'm like, shit, like what, like, like really, like this is happening to me right now. But
Which
I was
event was
able.
that? Was that event 6?
That was the final.
Okay.
Like you look at Austin, he had a 45-point lead or 47-point lead on fourth place going into that, and then he tied for third.
Yeah, he
Like
took
that,
a 15. All of you did. None of the top 3 did very well in that. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, I think, but look at the seconds. Like I had a no rep, which cost me like maybe 3 or 4 seconds. And I think that would have moved it up to 6, maybe. I don't know. You can filter that and see. But it would have been like close to probably 5th or 6th. What was the time?
Okay.
Scroll over a little bit.
Scroll over a little bit and let's see the times, Caleb. Or make it smaller. Okay.
It's not showing me. I don't know why. Let's see if I can fix it.
But yeah, I think it was like
There we go.
5 seconds.
yeah,
They
so
are
where was close. Wow.
I was 205. Look at that. 205, 203, 202, 201. Like, I think I would have been closer to Quinn on that one, which he took 6th. So like, you just know anything can happen on that. And then, sorry, I don't want to forget to answer your question. And then the deadlift one was one that I was a little bit nervous about. Like in training, when I did that, I just felt gassed. And like anytime I was in the front rack position, I couldn't stop coughing. So like, I felt like I was just kind of like holding my breath, and my heart rate went up.
Which event was that?
That was bicarb, and I took
okay.
7th in that.
3 deadlifts, 50 foot front rack lunge, 6 deadlifts. Oh, and keeps going up. Wow.
Yeah, but that ended up going better. I mean, I trained that one probably 6 times at least, and then probably the first one. I knew the first one is like, I think momentum's really big to be able to build going into a weekend like that. And then the first one went like crap. I ended up taking a 10th on it, but it was like a few reps away. Like when I finished that one, I was like, man, what am I doing? And luckily I was able to kind of like flip that switch and knock that out. Like, look, 4 reps would have taken me to 8th. And I just felt like I was a little soft on that.
Yeah,
But
that is crazy. When you take the 10th, did any chatter start up in your head where you start really
of
feeling bad?
course,
Like, yeah.
I think it's more of like, man, like what's going on? Like what are you doing? And I was able to like really kind of push those thoughts out. And that's where I have someone like Greg, where, we're able to kind of lock in a little bit more as to like, hey, like, we have to believe in ourselves. Like, it's a long weekend. Like, you have to fight for all of these points all the way through. Like, and that showed in 2018 when I qualified for the first time. We got off the runner. It was me and Nick Block, and he jogged to the finish line after 333, and I sprinted off the runner, and I got him by like I don't know, like a tenth of a second, something so insignificant. And then I qualified to the games by 3 points in 2018.
Wow.
And like, it was like a tenth of a second that he missed the games. And it's like, it was because of what happened on the first event. Of course, other things along the way, but like, if I would have just jogged to the finish and just rolled over and been like, hey, don't sprint to the finish, like there's no way you can catch him, I wouldn't have qualified for the games for the first time. So like, I know that points count early on in the weekend, that you want to be able to hold on to as much as you can.
Hey, it's kind of like that thing in sports. Every bad pass, whether it's, in football or Frisbee or whatever, is just an opportunity for a great catch.
Absolutely.
Like, you have to always be thinking like that. Like, hey, this is an opportunity for something great to happen.
Yeah.
It is crazy. You took a 10th and then a first. That must have felt good. You must have been like, holy shit. Like, your train was coming off the tracks and then you got back on. You're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And I think that and honestly, man, I think a lot of that was like those worst events that I did have, were ones in my mind that I was already questioning just a little bit. And the question is that I take back to my training is, how do I push those thoughts out and actually walk in with the confidence that I did on those other 3 events that I knew that I had, right? Because realistically, that first one, it's not that any of those movements I couldn't do. Same thing with that second and that last one. But I really think that there's something between the ears that need to be there of some sort of certainty that are going to allow you to perform. Because at the end of the day, man, it's like, it's always 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 3 repetitions. It's not that much, right? So how do you improve that much to be able to collect those points?
You said something interesting on the Spincast that I hadn't thought of, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of the workouts being released last minute. Like, I really liked how they did it at NorCal, and it kind of made they have 1,000 people at the it's the craziest athlete briefing you've ever seen. It's it's crazy, right?
I watched it.
Yeah, it's so crazy. There's so many people there, and that chick Jules from whatever the judges people are, she did a crazy good job. She did the whole thing in 40 minutes. But then you said this on Spin, which put a whole nother perspective on it for me. You said, if we all know the workouts ahead of time, it levels the playing field. And I like that way of looking at it too. As a fan, I kind of like the suspense of not knowing. But I guess it does do that, right? I mean, the playing field's leveled if everyone doesn't know, but if everyone gets to practice, the playing field's leveled. Do you have a preference, or do you just take it as it comes?
Well, do you think any athletes potentially know any events before competitions?
Potentially?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, potentially I have. I mean, I would be, I can't say no, right? The way you asked that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's always going to be an opportunity for someone to know them.
For sure. And I think it's just too hard. And that's no event organizer's fault, but like,
right.
People like you probably have a team of 20 to 30, right? And I've seen this 20 to 30 people that know the workouts, that it's easy to just be like, hey, practice your sandbag squat cleans.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
and like, that's it. Like, it's not like I told him the workout. I just told him to practice this. And I've seen this.
In 2000, God, I don't think I've ever admitted this. In 2009, I think before the hill sprint workout, I told Rob Orlando what it was.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone I've ever done that. But I remember thinking, I can't believe I did that. But I love Rob.
Hey, if you know anything, you just give me a call here after this one. But you're my guy. But I think that like, it's easy for that to happen. And I think that there's an easy way to eliminate that. I think the games are different because there's so many tests that even if something does get out, you can't outrun fitness. Like, you're either fit or you're not. But I think when you're talking 6 events and you have that much time to train it, like those like, one event is everything. But when you're talking about the games where you have 12 plus events, I think that and I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying I think there's a little bit more grace there that the cream would like anytime, right? Whether you had 10 events or 50 events, I really think the cream always kind of rises to the top. But as soon as you start to go under 7, I would say under 7, points are still so minimal.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a happy medium somewhere.
Well, and you'll see that
where like you release the movements, but not the workouts, and maybe not even all the movements, but just you chum the field, chum the water a little bit.
And I think you'll see that, not to bring it up, but like you'll see that with the WFP this year is I think that they're doing all 3 events are cumulative points. So say it's 6 events or 7 events, 7 sevens, 21 events. You have 2,100 points. So like you'll be able to see what is the gap from like first to third, and like is it actually coming down to who's going to win this final event to be able to win. I mean, we even see it at the games, like 12 events. I mean, sometimes it still gets a little bit close, but I would say like the top end of the leaderboard really separate.
Hey, speaking of that format for the WFP, I would love that format if there was some way to make sure that everyone went to all 3 events. But what sucks is that if someone doesn't go to one event, then they're kind of fucked, right? I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, at first I was like, oh, I actually like this better. And then after like, I think Colton got hurt or something, and then he didn't go to the first event or something. I was like, oh, now I've lost interest in it because that was my horse.
Well, and no one else can come in either, right? So like for anybody that doesn't qualify for the games and they want to go do that, I think that's at the end of August. Yeah. Well, you're already 800 points behind. Like you're not going to qualify for the finals. So I think that's where it gets a little like you might be able to go make a little bit of money, but that you still can't play. But I think I would love to see this in the CrossFit format of like the open and quarterfinals being some sort of ranking system going in, right? So like if you were looking at a semifinal and you took your open score and like relative to the field, right? So let's just say there's 40 people at Syndicate, right? And you rank so let's just say I won the open, I get 100 points. And let's just say Austin took 3rd. But that would technically be 2nd to the field. He would get 97 points. Do you know what I mean? So like you take that point system relative to the field of like where they are. So you technically would have 2 more events. It would count as an event. So the open would count as an event. The open would count as an event and quarterfinals would count as an event because everybody had to do it. So like
I would have to think about it more, but it sounds great in order to motivate people.
Yeah.
Like just you pitching it like that, I'm like, yeah, that fucking sounds great because then everyone's going as hard as they can, and then it kind of also eliminates. It becomes irrelevant if people say the open's heavy or not heavy.
Right.
Then that becomes completely irrelevant because it's just one of the events. Yeah, that's interesting.
And I mean, you look at a lot of these semifinals. Typically, semifinals like you start to go a little bit heavier. You're seeing 150-pound sandbag. You're seeing high volume strict handstand push-ups and ring muscle ups and heavy deadlifts. To where it's like someone like that's a lighter athlete, right? Like you look at top of the leaderboard for the open is always like Colton, Yona. I'm typically up there, but like it's more of like athletes that are pushing the open because you have a 50-pound dumbbell and you could do burpees. Like how do you incentivize people to actually push that going into it? Same thing with quarters. Like, but that stuff doesn't.
What's the drawback of that? I can't think of any drawback. What's the drawback of that?
I don't think there is. Like, it's just 2 more events, and I think people would love to have 2 more events.
God, that would really shut down the talk of whether the open's appropriate or not. I mean, because it really becomes irrelevant because then it just gets thrown into this pile with 15 other workouts at the games or 12 other workouts. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. God, that's and they would go enter the games ranked, but also I get that, but also the doing it for the first time and being your score as part of the test. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean like for the unknown and unknowable?
Yeah, they're talking about if they know the workouts before the event.
Well, what's cool about the games is you can mix it up, right? You can have some that are known and some that are.
I think the biggest thing is just getting there. I mean, and I think that I think that's one of the hardest things is having different. That's why I like the old regional format was the tests were equal across. right? Like everybody was doing the same thing. And it's like, and I said that on Spinscast was, you're kind of always fighting for the world record.
Yeah, that was
but
cool. I heard you bring that up. It's kind of, I hated how much I liked what you said there, but I really did enjoy that from week to week. That was really
Yeah.
fun. And I didn't care about the people who were complaining. It'd be like, it's not fair. They get an extra chance, but relative to the field, it's fair.
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, pipe down.
Or even if they did something like that where, well, I guess you could go anywhere you wanted now. But like, and that's why I think the open and quarterfinals should count because, let's just say, for example, Torian decided to swim and Syndicate didn't swim, right? Okay, well, are you like, if you didn't have that swim in there, would the field look different as to like what's going to the game? So like, was everybody tested at the same thing? So I think by throwing in those extra events that are standard, of what year was it?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You have 2 standard tests
Yeah.
that every semifinal tested.
Hey, let me ask you this. In that model, would you take your open score into semifinals, or you would only take your open quarters and semis into in the semifinals, would you take your open and quarter scores into semifinals, or would you only do that at the very end for the games?
No, I don't think you do it for the games. I think the games is just a new because at the end of the day, the goal is to get the right people to the games, right? And
okay. I misunderstood. So you are saying the opposite of what I thought. You're saying just take the open and quarterfinals into semis as two
events based off the field that you're in.
Okay.
And then the games, because I think there's so many tests. So I think that just allows like a semifinal to have 8 events. Like I said, the more events you have, I think the cream rises a little bit more. Like, what would Syndicate have looked like if those scores counted?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Personally, probably would have qualified.
Personally, I like to see an entire unknown games. I know, me too. I mean, I loved it at NorCal when they announced the event. There's like it's crazy when they announce all 7 events at once. It's like Christmas or 6 events or whatever. The athletes probably don't like it.
I think some do, some don't. Yeah.
Hey, before you go, I want to tell you these things that really stood out to me. You used the word grateful a lot. You talked about great personal accountability and responsibility, and you talked about surrounding yourself with people that believe in you, and without disparaging anyone or making it relative to something you liked or didn't like. And I find that I find that is like the big takeaways from talking to you, like that I'll incorporate into my own life. Yeah. And I have more and more over the years, but those are great. Accountability, being grateful, and having people who believe in you. It's huge. It's huge.
For sure.
So thank you for sharing all that.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. All right. Upward and onward. We'll be rooting for Spencer. Do we know how many people go to from
7.
online? 7.
I think there were 15 athletes from last year's games that haven't qualified yet.
Oh boy.
Whoa. Close to.
See, and as a fan, I love hearing that. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
Because I want the online to be like part of me wishes is they would give all the spots to semis and just leave 1 man and 1 woman for online.
See,
and just make it a bloodbath.
See, this is what I found would be interesting, and I love talking about this, but like if you did have the old regional format where everybody did the same test, you could have a power ranking system where you gave 5 invites out to the top times if everybody was on like a large leaderboard.
Right. Oh, you mean as opposed to having an online
instead of having an online,
oh,
there's just an online. So like, I mean, you look back at like,
so you're still motivated to do well, even though.
Yeah. Like you look back at Central East was like always a dogfight where, if the person that took 10th place in the Central East would have qualified out of any other region. So like, how do you bring that back and be able to give those spots to people that, like if you do want to have the top 30, I mean, of course you want global representation and I get that, but like, you also want to see a fight at the games with like the best of the best of like, yeah.
Another thing I'd like to see is I don't care what the fucking format is. I'll just make this one up. But the online semis to be 5 days long, and you have to do one workout every single day, and you have to post your time in your video. And the reason why is because as media, then we could milk the shit out of that. Do you know what I mean?
They
We
did
could
that
go
in
live.
2024.
Yeah, we
But
could
it
go
was like 2
live every
windows.
night and talk about it. And I would just like to see them stretch it out one a day, 5 days, and let us just as fans just feast on the race.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk so much shit. It would be crazy. It would
They
be
did
5
that for
days
the
of
last chance
insanity.
qualifier. I remember they put everybody's videos next to each other in 2022.
Yeah. That kind of stuff allows the media, then it builds so much hype, and the whole week is intense, and people are just more and more engaged.
Oh yeah.
Do you have an agent?
Yeah.
Who's your agent?
Bijan.
Oh, okay. How long have you been with him?
2018.
Oh, okay.
2019.
All right.
Till I started to do some stuff in the space.
All right, brother. Have a great just a great momentum build up to the games. You sound like you're in the perfect headspace. I really appreciate your time.
Of course. I'll see you there behind the scenes.
Yep. Yes, sir. You sure will.
All right. I'll see you at the
All
range.
right. Talk to you later. Bye. Saxon Panchik didn't disappoint. Are event conditions uniform enough for that to work? I'm sure. Yes. What's wrong with Jeffrey? I almost forgot. Thank you for your concern, Tessa. I'll be fine. What's happening with Jeffrey?
Maybe I think he might have retired early. There you go.
Oh, good.
You see.
Good dude. Good dude. Wow, look at this. Jeremy and David agreeing on something. This is crazy.
That is wild.
Clip it. He's the coolest. Saxon's a good dude. Oh, there's my boy Corey. I noticed you did your hair different on yesterday's show. They call me an influencer.
With that cowlick.
Yeah, he had it more up. It was like when it falls to the side, I start ticking. I start OCDing on his hair when it falls to the side. I'm just waiting for him to dye it blue. Sounds like he has nothing to prove this year. It's going to be good to watch him compete this year. Oh, I don't know. I heard the opposite. Isn't that funny? I think he does have something to prove. I think, yeah, I think, and I think that Syndicate was probably really perfect for him in terms of that lesson he learned. He's probably learned it a lot of times, but it's one of those ones you can't learn it enough that he takes 10th in the first event and then first in the second event. That's probably going to keep him hungry. I won't let it fall over anymore. I'm keeping it much shorter now. Okay, good. All right. Do it for the fans. I'm mostly driving when I watch the show too, but I still see you sometimes. You guys' show kills it, dude. You and Scott are so good together. You make subjects that I would absolutely have no fucking give a fuck about good. And sometimes I get jealous. Like the toaster bit yesterday, I really missed. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. Oh my goodness. I want to post that so bad.
You should. It should get posted.
Wow. It should be there should be someone's head, the top of someone's hair that you see right around Hiller's waist too. Like wiping, like just a profile of him wiping his lips. Like this.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, and that should be animated. It should be a GIF. Taylor, can you make that animated so it looks like someone sucking Hiller's dick and wiping their mouth? That's incredible. Wow. I need that animated. Absolutely amazing. Oh shit. Wow. Nikki Rogers just sent me a picture of him and Dalton Rasta. That's crazy.
Oh, that's
God,
wild.
it's a small world. Nikki Rogers looks like I saw him at I never looked closely at him. He looks like he's 16 years old.
Really?
Yeah. You know who I want to have on the show is he was friends with this guy named Jace Peck, this Asian dude. And I don't know why this kid intrigues me so much. I wonder if Jace Peck has done time in jail or in juvenile hall. He just gave me that vibe.
Really?
It's a crazy thing to say.
It's kind of crazy.
No, it wasn't Suga. It wasn't Suga. He is 16, dude. Yeah, how old is Nikki Rogers? He looks so young.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he looked really young in person. When I got close to him, I was shocked at how young he looked. I don't want him to dye. He had his hair dyed. I don't like that. I need to have a talk with him.
You know, like the bleach blonde?
No. What event is that? That's it. Those bars are crazy.
Yeah, Torian does a pretty good job.
Yeah, those bars are cool. Hey, if anyone knows the owner of CrossFit Torian or Chocolate Box training or chocolate, I want to have those owners on the podcast. I DM them, but I'm not getting a response. I'm guessing their DMs are crazy. Chase Peck looks like someone I'd slam all you can eat sushi with. I competed with Peck at my old gym. He's innocent as fuck, barely talks, but an absolute savage. Former teams games athlete. Oh, okay. There was something about him that just seemed so hard to me. Like he was the kid in high school who had a gun under his front seat, and maybe did some couple armed robberies. Just got that vibe from him. I mean, I didn't exchange a word with him. I said he was wearing a CEO shirt. I said hi to him, and he acted like he didn't know who I was. I was like, "Hey, dude, what's up? How are you?" And he's like, and his hair's crazy. All right. Yeah, so Corey, the toaster bit was amazing. You guys really milked that. I like the absurdity. The absurdity of it all. We're from the same hometown. That's so cool. What a small world. I'm looking at the picture of Nikki and Dalton.
That was wild.
I wonder if Nikki Rogers plays Clash Royale. Hey.
Clash Royale, huh?
Do you play Clash Royale? He looks like he might play some video games.
He looks like a Fortnite guy.
Does anyone in the chat play Clash Royale? Just 4 games a day. That's all I ask. No, that's just how he is. Chase? Oh. Well, if I had him on the show, it'd be like point teeth. Yeah, Jace Peck looks like he's one of the bad guys from Tokyo Drift. Yeah. he so looks like a bad guy. A bad guy, but he's got tons of hot. He looks also like he has tons of hot chicks around him. He seems like he'd be like girls would be just all up in his shit. He's so got his own style. Do we have a picture of him? Is he? Yeah.
What a vibe, dude.
But his hair.
Pit Vipers with a Metallica cutoff.
But when I saw him, his hair that's his hair sweaty and hanging down. Usually it's like he's got like a mullet and then the top sticks up.
The top sticks up?
And his body's crazy. His physique is nuts. Yeah, that is not what he looks like in person, that picture of Syndicate. His hair's like long now.
This one?
Yeah, he's an Asian dude who looks like white trash. That is not what he looks
He
like.
looks like white trash.
He's an Asian dude with a white trash haircut. Yeah, he's thick.
That's awesome.
All right. I'm trying to think. Jace Overhead squatted like 325 for 5 at the comp. Yeah, he looks like he's a brick shithouse. He's built crazy. He may have he may have won an event too. I remember I remember Pool Boy and talking about some event where he just looked absolutely savage. Oh man, I can't stop looking at this picture.
Pretty funny.
I'm updating my Jenny Hull contract.
Jenny Hull contract.
That last name's only a few letters away from being inappropriate.
Kind of.
All right. CrossFit Games update show tonight. I'm headed off to the beach. Be sitting in a lawn chair watching the kids surf all day. And then I'll see you guys at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't encourage him, Katie. Mike needs to be more professional. Please don't be more professional. We need less professional people. We need less people on drugs. If you're doing podcasts when you're on drugs, you should stop. Like everyone knows you're on drugs.
People do that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Who would
not a
that be?
podcast. It's not a podcast you watch.
Oh. Well, there aren't many, so.
But don't come on. Don't do a podcast stoned out of your mind or like you doubled your doses Xanax or whatever the fuck you're on. Everyone knows it's weird. It's uncomfortable. Unless you're going to change the name of your podcast to On Drugs. Talking CrossFit while on drugs.
Might actually be a good show.
All right. Hey, listen. Ortega says as long as Mike stops talking about Pokemon, the largest untapped audience is China. I think they like Pokemon over there. He's trying to hit a new demographic.
I think it's Japan, but
you tell me which podcast the people are on drugs.
He probably doesn't even watch it either.
Yeah.
There's maybe 5 people that tune into it.
God
damn.
I
think all 5 of them are in the same group.
Like, holy shit, man. All right. See you guys this evening. Bye-bye.